This is the story of Reb Simcha Bunim of Pshischa, and it's about the verse: have an open hand, like give graciously and openly, and don't make your heart like bitter and and stingy. Don't allow your heart to become bitter and stingy when you're giving. Like, don't think too highly of yourself when you're giving.
That's another thing I was reading yesterday.
Right, because these are all parshas from the parsha.
Don't think twice.
Right.
When you give.
Right. Give it from your whole heart.
That's it.
Right. So one of the students told me in Pshischa about one of the tzaddikises of the Simcha of the wife of the Simcha of Bunim of Pshischa, that one time Reb Simcha Bunim was traveling from Danzig back home, from through a town called Shops or Chefs, whatever. Mm-hmm. And there was one holy person living there. A big tzaddik was living there. His name was Rabbi Zalman Chassid, and he was very, very poor. And when Reb Simcha Bunim of Pshischa came to the motel, he asked to call this holy man, Reb Zalman, this holy poor man, Reb Zalman. And he said that he will make a big meal for him. And he gave him a whole bunch of money. And right away, Reb Zalman went back home. And on the way, he picked up some fish and some chicken and everything he needed. And he still had some coins left. And when Reb Zalman left, Reb Bunim asked the maid, the servant of the owner of this inn, to call a coat merchant. And he bought a coat and a winter hat. And he also got himself good shoes and socks. And he also bought a piece of pishtan. How do you call it, pishtan?
Thread. Just thread.
Like a piece of thread, basically. And he asked to sew him a nightgown. And like to sew a nightgown from it. And he took everything to Reb Zalman and he went. And when everybody left the house, he dressed him in all this warm clothing from, head to toe. And but then he saw that all the other attendants of the house were also, not dressed properly. So he right away gave enough money to go and, buy warm clothing to all the other family members. And they brought it to the servant brought it to the house, and everybody was rejoicing. And then they ate, and then he brought a drink, and he gave him more cash just to have around without, counting, just giving, right? And after the meal, he went back to his motel together with Reb Zalman. And when they were saying goodbye to each other, Reb Bunim took another few rubles and gave them also to Reb Zalman. And Reb Zalman was wondering, how much can you give? Enough is enough. And he was kind of embarrassed to take it at that point. He said, I still have leftover from the first and second time that you gave me. And that's on top of all the clothing and whatever that you gave me. And Reb Bunim told him, the Torah said, you should naton titen. Like the verse in the Torah gives the word giving twice. Naton titen. Don't just give, but overgive. Or like duplicate giving, right?
Right.
So, and don't, think, I already gave, how much can I give, right? Don't be in that state of mind, right? And there are many commentators about it. But the pshat is that when you give a poor man with compassion, it's like you need to come out of the state of mind of this is a poor man and I'm giving him because he's a poor man. You want to give on a friendly level. Like, not, you don't have to, you don't want to give the poor person a feeling like you're giving them because they're poor.
Right.
You want to give it to them like it's a gift.
Right.
So he said to him, basically, the Torah teaches me that you're my friend. You're not my, I'm not giving you because you're a poor man. I'm giving you because you're my friend, and I want to give you another gift. No big deal. I'm just giving you a gift.
Wow.
Right? So,
Wow.
and he said to him, because he asked, because you asked, I want you to understand that now that I've given you enough, it's not like I have pain over you, right? It's not like I'm, like I don't know. And now I feel like I did the mitzvah of tzedakah properly.
Uh-huh.
So, and you should know that God told me to come to this town just to teach me this mitzvah today. And so that Hashem gave me the privilege through you to uprise to this level. And if you don't take it from me now, because you will feel like I gave too much, then all my efforts will go in vain. Efforts of growth, of spiritual growth. So when Reb Zalman heard that, he was receiving the money with so much joy and with no embarrassment in it. And they parted as friends. And he said to him, himself, and then friends and family, he said, who else in the world has God inside of him like Reb Simcha Bunim?
Yeah. It's a real neshama.
A real level, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah. So basically, the way we, and this is basically told about the idea of Re'eh, that the Chassidus on this parsha is talking about the idea, we started talking about it today also at our Mishnah class, that we don't want to live in a state of mind where we think that we're doing things in order to get anything from it.
Right.
We don't want to live in a state of mind of doing mitzvahs or giving tzedakah or whatever it is that we're doing because we want to achieve definitely not respect,
Right.
definitely not materialistic reward, and not even a spiritual level. Not even a spiritual level. But it's very, very hard.
Yeah.
There's a term called lishma velo lishma. What are you doing for the sake of heaven? What are we doing for the sake of heaven? And what are we doing for the sake of myself?
Yeah.
For the sake of my respect, for the sake of my finances, for the sake of my, right? Like this guy in the chuppah who just gave 50% of what he had just because he wanted to, because he understood that there was a spiritual move happening here, right? And he wanted to give the guy a second opportunity to put himself back together, right? So, like, from what place am I giving? I need to always ask myself, am I giving because the community sees me giving? Am I giving because, or am I doing a favor to someone because whatever, like I want to be appreciated by someone or by the community or whatever, or even by God himself?
Right.
Am I doing things to please God even, right?
Yeah.
Or am I doing things just because it's the right thing to do?
Yeah.
And that's the level that we want to achieve. And then we also want to understand or live in a state of mind that we don't like the Mishnah says, right? Don't even try to figure out why bad things happen to good people or why good things happen to bad people.
I gave up.
Right? Because it also talks about myself. Don't try to figure out, I said that to Tehillim, so that worked out. Right. Or I did this tzedakah, so that worked out for me. No, you have no idea, because in the same way, are you going to say, oh, this bad thing happened to me because whatever?
Right.
Yeah.
I desecrated Shabbos, or I didn't give tzedakah to
like
someone.
Magical.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. Leave that all to Hashem. Don't be in an accounting position with Hashem. Let Hashem do his accounting work without mingling in with it, in other words.
Right.
But we all think that if this good thing happened to bad and bad thing happened to good, that it's somehow distributed heavily in the bad people getting more or whatever. But when we really think about it, there's so much good going on at all times to good people and for bad people
Right.
that there's really no accounting for this.
And we don't
at
know
all.
who's bad and who's good.
Right.
If we follow the Baal, sorry, 1 second. If we
Yeah.
follow the Baal Shem Tov stories, Hasidic stories in general, but especially the Baal Shem Tov stories,
Yeah.
we see how many times there's this person who was evil his whole life, and even the Talmud has a story like that. How a person could be evil a whole lifetime, but one time they did something so extraordinary and so out of themselves, so besides, so how do you say, like in English, like you overdid yourself, right?
Yeah.
Outdid.
What?
Outdid
yourself.
Yeah.
You outdid yourself. That it takes your whole life into the pocket, and only that deed is like is going to leave the impression in the world of who you were,
Yeah.
right?
I went 100 years ago when I was young. I was on University of Pennsylvania's campus with a friend, and we were late for something. And a guy came over to the car, and he was shaking, and elderly. I'm sure he was younger than us now, and asked us to take him to a detox center.
Oh no.
And my friend wouldn't take him. And I'll never forget that, because I felt like I was a part of his. It was an Avera that he wouldn't take him.
Right.
Yeah, but
Got
you never
it.
do know that person could get into your car and be some kind of a murderer or
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
see?
There's so many unpredictables, druggies and whatever.
Mhm.
This person needed help.
You could tell. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
In those days, it was different, but
I
now
know
you
why I
really have
told
to
you.
be questioning who gets into your car.
Terrible.
I'll never forget that.
So I wanted to tell you that
Sure.
Tikva had to go to the change place on Thursday or Friday when they were open because we're going to Budapest and she needed euros. And she probably never takes her ID out very often.
Yeah.
Took it out. She was so excited because she had money, she got the money away. She left it somewhere. She thinks she left it there. So all weekend long, we're talking about it. And I said, think about thanking God that it's there. Just that alone. She walked in, she came out smiling. He was holding it for her today, 3 days later.
Right.
But that was, you could have an attitude of, and then
Right.
everything goes bad. And we're going to go to get a new one. Her driver's license was in. And she's going to go to the driver's license. But we're thinking about these. I said, no, don't think about the good that could come of this. And she felt great. So we're going out to celebrate.
Where are you taking us?
Kings on guitar.
There's a beautiful story about this guy who was. Do you know the story Yosela the Holy Miser?
I heard of
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So Yosela the Holy
Maybe.
Miser, who was everybody thought that he was the craziest miser of the town, but then after he died, everybody realized that he was the one who was feeding the whole poor community, right?
Right.
And everybody
Right.
realized that only after he died, after slamming him and cursing him and embarrassing him in public and whatever, right?
But he was too prideful or didn't want people to know.
Right,
Right.
just didn't want people to know.
Anonymous. Yeah.
Right, and actually it
Hidden
brings us,
tonics.
Right.
right, and it brings us to understand also the idea that we don't want to say, in front of other people, this one is such a tzaddik. He always helps everybody because, right, we don't want everybody to go to him
Right.
and say, "Oh, I heard you're a tzaddik.
No.
Yeah.
Can you help me too?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
or we don't want somebody, we don't want the ones, like you see somebody who needs a mitzvah,
Mhm.
help them instead of telling them, "Oh, there's a tzaddik out there. Go to them; they'll help you."
Right.
You have the opportunity to help them.
I
Right?
haven't known many in tzaddikim who passed.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize they were hidden tzaddiks until they passed.
Until they pass,
Yeah.
right? Right.